Lucy, are you in the video?
She is.
Oh, Lucy?
Are you a big girl? Hi, welcome back to the Big B and Little T channel. I'm Little T, also known as Tina.
I'm the Big B, known as Brian.
And right here is Lucy, sometimes known as Lucy Doocy or Lucy Lou. She's not usually up on the furniture, so she's acting a little scared, like she's in trouble, but she's not. Today we're going to talk about just the final 2.5 weeks that we have here at 611 Bakehouse and in Perry, and just some of the things we've been going through these last few weeks and months, and just kind of give you a little bit of a, I don't know.
Overview.
Yeah. Overview of what it's been like.
Yeah, because it's funny that our kids and even people that we know think that we're just feeling lots of pressure, like we're so busy getting everything done. And I mean, we have been busy, but we've been working on this process for quite a while. I mean, when we made this list today, we went all the way back to when the pandemic first hit and everything kind of slowed down. That's when I made the decision that I was going to take advantage of that time, and I began to just slowly scan pictures and documents, and that's pretty much what I did a lot of the time, even during work during the pandemic. And then about in December of 2021, so it was about 6 months ago, our board voted that we would be transitioning away from here at the end of June. And at that point, we realized that we needed to downsize significantly because we wanted to live smaller. I mean, we live pretty small here in comparison to a lot of people, but we wanted to live even smaller. So we're going to live in a one-bedroom apartment, but not have nearly as much storage space because we have a huge building here. And whenever you have lots of space, it gets filled with a variety of different things. So that kind of initiated in December this process of what can we do next. We looked at big items from our vehicles all the way down to our clothes and household items, and we began to sort those and we began to sell those. Tina can tell you a little bit about how that process went, but it started really literally almost in January of 2022, about 5 to 6 months ago. We just started that process, and she can tell you some of the things we've gotten rid of and how we got rid of them. And so you'll see that I think as where we are today, we're not really that stressed really about where we need to be to get moved to Kentucky.
Yeah, if you've seen any of our previous downsizing videos this last spring, you'll know that we sold our van and we sold a lot of our camping equipment. We sold big furniture, some of the things that have moved out of our apartment, and some things that we've sold that people have been kind enough to let us keep in there until the very end, such as our couch and chair, so we'd have something to sit on. And we've also, Brian and I have both noticed that when we're going through things such as clothes or even household items, you kind of make one round and you go through and you get rid of what you think you're done. And then maybe a month or so later, you look at your things again, you're like, I think I can get rid of more. So it's a process that's a continual downsizing, and we both feel that even when we get to Kentucky, as we're unpacking boxes, we're gonna say, maybe we don't even need this. So it's definitely been a process, not a all at once kind of a thing where you get rid of everything and just say, that's it. It continues and continues.
I mean, that's true of the trash that we've thrown away. It's the shredding,
paperwork,
just so many different things. I mean, we've gotten rid of so much trash, and we took bags to shred finally last week. We went to Best Buy and gave them some old computers that they then clear the hard drives and recycle those. And those are just, again, things that we're kind of building and building. We donated books to the library. We've been selling some books, but it's really been a process. And we literally, right now, as far as we can tell, something may happen, we've basically sold everything that we've wanted to sell, including one of the very last items was our iron and our ironing board. and somebody says, "You guys look like you really are going into retirement." And what I said to them was, "Well, we're still going to probably need an iron and an ironing board, but we just want to have it. We just want it to be smaller." And so when we get to Kentucky, we're going to have to reacquire some things.
Yes.
I mean, we have to have chairs to sit on. We may even get a little kitchen table. We don't know. We've never seen our apartment, only in a floor plan. So we've not actually seen our apartment to know what we need. So we don't want to come across as people that are going to live so minimally. We're going to sit on the floor, and those kinds of things. But we wanted to get rid of them here because we're not really that attached to them, and most importantly because we don't want to move them and get some gigantic truck and try to then downsize. We would rather downsize, move, and then as Tina said, downsize again if we need to, which we will need to. I mean, that's one thing we have learned is this isn't going to be a one-time deal. We're going to be downsizing for the rest of our lives because all of us acquire things, whether it's paperwork, whether it's bills, whether it's clothes, and you're constantly going to have to revisit it.
Yes. And another thing we were going to talk about is just these last week in particular, we had a really big challenge. You might notice that Brian is wearing a
wrist splint.
A splint on his wrist, and we'll just go into that a little bit. Similar to when we first came here, we felt like we had some challenges getting into the building and going through the whole process of getting the building cleared out and getting it ready to open. We felt we had some major challenges along the way, and they weren't just financial, but we felt like there was something trying to keep us from coming here and offering discouragement, which we weren't fond of. And now as we're trying to move on to the next step in our life, we have come across, a big challenge this week in particular.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was Wednesday of this week. We were cleaning up in the kitchen just like our normal routine. We realized we didn't have any water, and we heard a sound, not a sound that you want to hear, which was the sound we later discovered of rushing water downstairs, and I ran down the stairs. I noticed water on the stairs. I was barefooted, not a good thing. And when I got down to the bottom of the stairs and got onto our concrete floor, there was water everywhere. I didn't know. I slipped, fell, and put my hand back, and we don't think it's broken. Hopefully it's just severely strained. I didn't notice it that night, but I did notice it the next day and the next day. So it's been several days. So in any event, a big water line, a 3/4 inch water line was blowing full force and had flooded a good part of the building. And of course we were very discombobulated about what to do. I got the water shut off, and Tina put on Facebook, that we needed wet vacs and we needed help. And there's a lot of disadvantages sometimes in living in small communities, but there's such a blessing in small communities where you know so many people and so many people know you. And within minutes, we had wet vacs here, we had people here, people that stayed for a couple of hours and brought fans, wet vacs, their time, and we were so grateful. And we basically had the mess cleaned up to the best of our ability within 2 or 3 hours. Of course, it still had to dry out, and I had to do some more work today of painting floor, paint that had buckled on the concrete floor. But those are pretty minor issues, but we were so grateful to those people, and we were very grateful that we were here, because if we had not been here, or if we had not heard it, or if it happened in the middle of the night, or we were gone out of town for the day, it would have virtually, I wouldn't say destroyed the building, but we would have had sheetrock issues, just so many more issues. So it probably went off, we think, for about 20 minutes before we actually realized something was wrong. So we're very, very grateful. The plumber said he'd never really seen anything like that before. It just kind of blew off the shut-off valve. But it is what it is. We're going to work hard to finish strong. And as Tina said, there were challenges coming in, and we expect challenges going out, but we're still going to give it our all. And I know the community expects that of us, and we know that they've supported us in the process. So we're grateful for that. But that's just it. I mean, we aren't stressed. Well, I mean, that night I might have been stressed, but we aren't stressed about trying to get everything done. There's a little bit of stress on the work side of things, the ministry side, because the people that are going to help us take over are coming in the next 2 weeks. They're coming for 2 weeks, and there's going to be a lot of detail in that process, and that's why we wanted to get a lot of our personal stuff done. Right. Because the next 2 weeks will be a lot more work related in trying to get things transitioned, accounts and computers and all sorts of things, and so that we can step away from here and feel that we did a very good job.
Yeah,
from
training
beginning
and
to end.
sharing information.
Exactly. So anyway, we will keep you guys updated as we continue to move through the process. As Tina said, we have less than 2 weeks of work here. We're going to go away for a few days, and then we'll come back for a day and head to Kentucky the first week in July. And we look forward to that. We look forward to seeing our friends in Kentucky who will help us unpack, and hopefully we'll have dinner and those kind of things with those friends soon. So thanks again for joining us. Lucy thanks you as well. She's got a big tongue today, as she always does. But we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Comment, share, and continue to follow our journey from where we are today and where we'll be headed in the future.
So subscribe to our channel and just hit that like button and leave us a comment. We love you guys.
Bye-bye.